But, I started out basically writing curriculum because, so the omnibus curriculum, that's me and Doug and Gene V.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We plan to use that this year.
Okay. Yeah. So, and a lot of the other stuff at Veritas Press is either mine or my wife. So when I started 27 years ago, there wasn't any curriculum.
Yeah.
So we just had to sit and write.
Yeah.
So we wrote it, and then we went and taught it.
Yeah. Well, maybe this conversation might go in a different direction. So Jarek and I we own a gym together.
Oh, wow.
And we are passionate about classical Christian education, but we feel like there's a lack in the physical component of the classical Christian education. So we talked to Timothy Dernlin about it, and he wants us to come up with a curriculum to be a presenter next year.
Well,
so we don't know how to write a curriculum though.
Okay.
So maybe you can be helpful for us.
So what I could tell you is mainly what we did wrong, and that is you have to start at the end and work backwards.
Sure.
We didn't have that luxury because we built the school from the bottom up.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was halfway through, and there. Laurie Detweiler made a lot of really good curricular choices for Veritas Press back in the day, but I wish if I could go back and do it again, I'd talk a lot more about that stuff out at the end, and I think we could have ramped things in a way that wouldn't have been as rough for people.
Okay.
So, but hey, listen, I have 4 daughters. We need guys to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because I need at least 4 men.
That's right.
Now they all have significant others right now, and they are all. I'm not ashamed for them to come over to the house.
That's good.
But classical Christian education, our culture, I'll say this, and classical Christian education is better, but I'd really like to see it be significantly better than it is in producing boys that are more manly.
Sure. Biblical masculinity.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how about just so we're a school startup, we're 1 year in.
Okay.
We are going into our second year. Maybe what would you say to family members who aren't super familiar with classical Christian education, but they have bought into the vision that we've casted, but they still may have some hesitations going into that sort of thing?
Okay. So what I would say is stay the course. Like the most powerful thing that I have seen, and it really, I see it on a national level now. Being involved, I've been head of school for 27 years, and the blessings are down the road from where there are blessings that your students and families will receive every day, but the big blessings are the ones that you can't see yet.
Yeah.
They're the ones that, I was talking with a friend who teaches in Minnesota, and he's 3 years away from teaching his own grandchildren who've come up through the school.
Yeah.
And that's encouraging in a way that nobody at your school can experience right now.
Right.
It's so encouraging to see the alumni of my school and the opportunities that they're getting. And I would just say what you're doing is challenging and hard. And there are some things that are challenging and hard that might be senselessly challenging and hard. But what you're doing is challenging and hard, and it's challenging and hard because it's important and it's good.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage them to keep on investing.
Yeah.
Keep on investing, because the community that you're in needs this institution more than they know they need it now.
Yeah, that's good. So we took the accelerator through ACCS, and you were on the videos.
Oh, was I? Yeah. I remember that.
You used a term that you were the first time I've ever heard this term, but you said heavenizing.
Yes.
So can you explain what you meant by that?
Oh, okay. So, and some of this comes out of my background is in theology, and it is part of the work that we do each week in worship. We come into the presence of Christ, and we're lifted up
Yep.
into his presence. And as we're lifted up in his presence, we're changed. But what we're doing here is that connection between heaven and earth that was severed at the fall is, it in the Old Testament, it starts coming back like at the tabernacle and at the temple, and then Jesus is Jacob's ladder, that connection between heaven and earth. And now, as the Spirit grows the church, really, the light of the eternal age is already shining, and it's not going to go out.
Yeah.
It's going to move forward. And as we think about what we're doing, part of what we're doing is so we own our own building now. We didn't always own our own building, but every nook and cranny of that building now, we think, how can we make that fit into this place that deeply affirms our values and philosophy? And that is really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. It's expensive,
Sure.
but it's really fun because, we're thinking about, we have this room we call the Inklings Lounge.
Okay.
And at the Inklings Lounge, it's a basically wasted space. It's a big area that's a lobby that has 4 or 5 tables that seat 4, and it has some nice furniture in it, and everyone wants to be there. And it's just this. There's a picture of Lewis and Tolkien up in the Inklings Lounge, and everybody just wants to. I find parents that come in and just sit and work or read in the Inklings Lounge.
Nice.
And that. Sometimes I leave my office and just go over there and do something, because it's just such it's a place where the ideas that are driving our school are starting to take shape, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
But listen, that's happening in your classrooms, and most importantly, that's happening in the hearts and minds of the young people of your school. That's already happening, even in you're just finished your first year. Right. Even in your first year, even your first day, that's beginning to happen. But what gets even more exciting, and this is kind of what I mean when I say, stay the course, is because it's not, you don't see the same kind of things in 1 year of this run.
Right.
That was probably pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I stayed for the second year was that my wife and I made an agreement: if they offered us a contract for the second year, we'd at least do 2 years before we really thought about it. Because if we would have made a decision after the first year, we would have quit.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of hard work out in front of you. But if you want to get to that place of seeing the kinds of blessings that you can see over a long period in a family, over even a longer period in an institution, you have to keep on going. So for instance, we had one young lady that got accepted at Cambridge this year. So she's going to be studying medieval and Renaissance literature at Cambridge, where C.S. Lewis taught medieval and Renaissance literature.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So but we couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done that in our first year.
Yeah.
I think that it gets easier to do things. I'm trying to not be secretive, but everybody else is slowing down.
Yeah.
So don't give up on a rigorous classical education. Don't back away from your distinctives about being a wholeheartedly Christ-centered school. Don't back away from that. That's going to draw the right people.
Sure.
Then finally, the thing that we talk about is, even if we're good at this and that, if it's not full of joy, then we're lying about these two things, because we believe that learning is good, and we believe that life in Christ is joyful. Not always happy,
right,
but it's joyful.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your time. Appreciate it.